This morning we're being joined via Zoom from Port Harcourt, Pastor Matthew Ashimolowo, who is a senior pastor and the founder of KICC, and he joins us virtually from Port Harcourt. Good morning, Pastor Ashimolowo. It's good to see you on our program this morning. We can see that we had to pull you out of a very important event that you are currently championing in Port Harcourt, and thank you so much for making time to be with us on the program. Oh dear, I hope you can hear me. Pastor Ashimolowo, if you can hear me, I was just saying thank you so much for being with us on the program. You have intervened in a very, very decisive manner in this conversation. I'm not quite saying that, yes, there is a genocide going on in the country, but you say that there is sufficient evidence that cannot be ignored, and that if, we're not looking at that precisely, that perhaps, what we should look at what exactly is going on, and that there needs to be accountability. I wanted to start by asking you, what reactions have you received, either by people from the authorities or from the Nigerian masses, after you made your intervention into the ongoing conversation?
Thank you very much, Maupe. I really would have loved to let that subject rest because it was said within the context of what we're doing in Port Harcourt today. I only spoke as a Nigerian, I only spoke as a pastor, and I only spoke as a person who grew in northern Nigeria. I guess the reaction has been that people felt truth was spoken. I don't think the government is in denial. That personally would say much of the trouble we may have seen or are seeing was not started but during this period. I think this government inherited quite a challenge, and I think they're dealing with it. I only had to just speak because the body of Christ needed to say something. That was it. But the context in which I said it is what you can see in the background. Port Harcourt Stadium is packed with thousands and thousands and thousands of people because for the past 3-4 days we've been distributing 150,000 packs of rice, 150,000 packs of beans, 150,000 packs of gari, hundreds of thousands of things. Today we're going to be distributing clothing, food, mattress. We've already done 570 surgeries, and we will tomorrow and the day after be handling a medical that will be unprecedented. We have 150 doctors ready. We have 150 pharmacists ready. We have 100 or 200 nurses ready. Behind me are women 50 and above. We did it according to age. Beside them are men 50 and above. And on another side is ladies who are the young ladies, those who unpack the whole stadium. We've been giving food and clothing. We've been giving material for the past 3-4 days. And the last day of this thing is going to be medical, which is tomorrow and the day after. We brought in medicine worth 500 million naira. I know there's a subject, but we want to focus on just helping the people, and we leave the other issues to the government. I hope I gave the answer you were expecting.
Well, I know that, suddenly, usually towards the end of the year, a lot of, I want to believe that KICC does these outreaches a little more often, but I do know that a lot of faith organizations usually do their outreaches towards the end of the year to kickstart the spirit of the season, the season of giving, etc., etc. However, we also know that when you're looking at giving out packs to 150,000 people, for instance, that is also happening within the context of poverty. It's happening within the context of lack. And people have said that, look, perhaps is also fueling what it is that we're seeing. Because if in a place like Port Harcourt, which is supposed to be a relatively well-off state, we're seeing these numbers of people coming out to receive this this assistance, there'll be questions as to, even in the places where we now know that people have been ravaged, people have been displaced from their homes as a result of conflict, that we might be seeing much more numbers, and that is the context in which we're discussing insecurity, for instance. What do you think the role of the church ought to be in this time? Do you think that the church also has a role to empower the people beyond, giving them, I don't want to use the word arms, but beyond giving them this assistance periodically? Do you think that they also have a role in teaching them how to fish?
Well, basically, the church have done that a lot. In fact, some people will even criticize the church when they begin to teach people to prosper. We do that a lot. However, sometimes also you have to learn that there's another side to the message of Jesus. He said, I was hungry, you fed me. I was thirsty, you gave me water. I was naked, you gave me clothes. That's what we're doing in Port Harcourt. And that's the reason why the people have packed the stadium these 4 days. And we have 2 more days to go. Somebody has to do something. We felt led of the Lord. We felt God was putting this in our heart. I saw something on the smaller scale being done in Ghana. I'm not responding because it's the time of the year. This is actually a ministry on its own. It's not even KRCC. Just behind me right now are thousands and thousands of young ladies who are going to be collecting clothing, food, medicine, etc., etc. And like I said, we spent probably somewhere around 500 million to bring medicine. We've already done 570 surgeries. We're paying for all of it. Close to 200 people have been given their eyes back with cataracts removed, hernias removed from people, goiters removed from the neck. People have had fibroid removed. It's the need in the land. And may I just say, everybody says government. I don't think we can leave everything to government. The challenge of the third world, certainly, truly, particularly Africa, is that people need education. They need to know how to fish. But listen, I travel around Africa a lot. I go particularly, and I'm proud to be Nigerian. I have never seen people as industrious as Nigerians. Almost everyone has a business. Everyone has a business. We just are a big nation, 240 million people. So we can't leave everything to government. We're playing our part as the body of Christ, as the Church of Jesus Christ. But we're here to make impact. We're here to touch lives. And the thousands who pack the stadium every day have been very grateful. They've been here early this morning because we're going to put a lot in their hand again. Then the last 2 days, we do the medicals.
Pastor Matthew, I mean, we do have to commend you for the work that you do. It's every year. I've seen you do this every year, helping the community and making sure that people, their sufferings are alleviated on some level. I want to be able to talk to you about this rising spate of kidnappings in the country. We've seen from the National Assembly yesterday asking that the death penalty be the punishment for kidnapping. And of course, the conversations around how it's become a business in Nigeria. What are your thoughts on this situation, and what could be a lasting solution in your view?
Again, being dragged into this conversation that is unsavory, I would just say hello. I think, number one, trying to just send out people to Sambisa Forest to fish out the perpetrators is not enough. This thing has gone from being one-headed Boko Haram to multi-headed banditry, Boko Haram, terrorism, armed herdsmen. And it's like the myth of Heracles, who was to face a hydra-headed snake. Every time he cut one head, out of the head he cut, 4 heads came out. You want my opinion? I'm just a pastor. But my counsel would have been, number one, we should look at the security infrastructure of our nation. My question have always been, I was a teenager when Biafra happened. I lost my dad there. Nigeria handled a civil war that was on a larger scale and ended it in 2.5 years. But we cannot conquer Boko Haram in 15 years. Boko Haram have now given birth to ISWAP and many other parts of the Hydra head. My counsel would have been that, number one, we should just do surgery. If United Arab Emirates, CIA said they know people who are behind some of this terror, which government is hiding them? They should be brought out. Then we know these are the enemies of our nation. They should face it. Number two, I think the defense system should do a clean house job. Number three, I think I'm only thinking, and I think there is a lot of rumor that people are benefiting from this whole thing. Whoever is importing probably the weapons may be benefiting. So we need to ensure that the infrastructure is first taken care of. If you hire 1,000 more police, and if you hire 1,000 more soldiers, the challenge with Nigeria is that, particularly we who are down south, we don't even know the north. Niger State can swallow the whole of the east and half of the west in size. So a terrorist can hide very well in the bushes of Niger State. Then number two, a lot of people down south don't know the nature of the practice of religion in the north. And so they use whatever is happening where they are to judge what may be happening elsewhere. And they think, oh, this claim that there's no freedom in some places is not true. Travel, go around, and you will see that I am almost tempted to say it seems as if there is a dichotomous Nigeria, two Nigerias. It needs to be corrected. We need to face it. I need to be free as a Nigerian, as I am in Lagos, today in Port Harcourt. I should be free in Kauran Namoda. I should be free in Maiduguri. I should be free in Gombe. And the person who comes from Gombe should not be bastardized and given a bad name in Lagos. The man from the east should be able to feel free because he's a Nigerian. So let me just say this in a nutshell. Two things are on the table to correct: systems and leadership. Personally, I don't care whoever feels it differently. I respect His Excellency, the President of Nigeria. I believe in him. I think we are having pain right now. Nigeria is going to do good. I think he's a very he's a man who's been through the been-throughs. And he's doing a surgery that will end up in the benefit of the nation. But it's not enough to have a good leader and a great visionary like him. We now need to correct the system. A fantastic pilot in a terrible jet can still have an accident. Fix the jet. Don't just fix the pilot.
And that's a very important point that you just made. I can see that you're doing your part when it comes to the root causes, when we look at insecurity in Nigeria. I grew up in the north as well, so we know it's multifaceted, and you're correct. It's like a hydra-headed snake. Cut off one, four comes out, you know. But you're doing your part, and I can see that, distributor, and you do it every year. Looking at the root causes, what actually drives people into becoming terrorists and bandits? You talked about the president. Is he empowering the Nigerian people to where the concept of becoming a kidnapper or a bandit or a terrorist is no more attractive? Or are we taking Panadol, we're taking paracetamol for a brain tumor?
Let's face the truth. You see, we keep looking at His Excellency, the Executive President. But we are not talking about their excellencies, the executive governors. My mother used to say, a dog cannot watch over two houses. And we need to probably look at our constitution again and probably put inside our constitution that the executive governor must be in his state for no less than 250 days out of 365. Not 250 days sitting in Abuja and a few days in his state because I don't know what he's afraid of. Let our governors move to their state. Let there be also KPI, key performance indicators for each state. When allocation is made on a monthly basis, it should not just be this is what is due ABC state, EFG state, IJK state. Where are the KPIs the money is tied to? Key performance indicators. If you don't have KPI and you give me large money, I'll just be like a drunken sailor who'll just be spending the money anyhow.
You know, yesterday, you just mentioned the governors. Yesterday, we saw southern governors meet, I think in Ogun State, and, you know, they reached a decision that eventually they believe that state policing will be the way to go. This is also coming on the back of the meeting of governors of the Southwest who are also calling for this. How optimistic are you that this can actually have an effect on the current challenges that we're facing?
Again, when you have a faulty jet and you are fixing just one tiny part, the jet may still have a problem. At the end of the day, the police, the state police will only respond to this executive governor who does not spend enough time in his state where he is the executive governor. He's most times in his apartment in the Federal Capital Territory. People don't mention these things. They only whisper it. But these are the truths. You see, you can create state police, but I do hope they will not end up like personal armies of each governor again. You know, before you had democracy around the world, some nations grew to the place where kings and president. It was a characteristic of Arabian lands. The prince of Persia will have his own 5,000 soldiers. And so we need to, the system needs some overhauling. And nobody should be so big that there is no system, no law that corrects that and controls and questions. Again, I go back to the same thing. You are a governor. I mean, I'm 73 years old. I have seen a bit. I was a young person when the independence happened. I was 8 years old. I was a teenager when Biafra happened. So I know Nigeria. And I've seen fathers, leaders who have risen in this land. The Akanu Ibiams, the Isaac Kiwis, the Sardonas, the Tafawa Balewas, the Awolowos, the men who sacrificed. You can't see them sit in the federal capital and not be in the territory. I keep putting my finger on that sore point. This morning, as you are talking to me, the chances are that 60 to 70% of our governors are in Abuja. Is that the state? Is that the place where a man should go and watch over his people? I'm a pastor. I have to watch over my flock. When I am not there, I have exposed them to wolves. So, if we want banditry to stop, the very state where banditry is, let's go there. Let's get those guys out. Let there also be some serious consequence. Can be Boko Haram, rape girls, force them into a religion, force them into marriage, traffic them across states, break about 5 laws. Rape is, I don't know how many years, I'm not a lawyer. Human trafficking, I don't know how many years, I'm not a lawyer. Forceful marriage, I don't know how many years, I'm not a lawyer. Underage sexual copulation is a crime. I don't know how many years. I'm not a lawyer. And then force a person to a religion. I don't know how many years. All these guys did these things. You said it should stop, but you gave them forgiveness. It is even rumored that some of them are in the army. Are they? If they are not, let us know. It is rumored that they were given blanket forgiveness. No, 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 no. A man must face the consequence of what he has done. Really, I would prefer we face what I'm doing here, these thousands and thousands of people whom we have come to touch their life. Tomorrow, this place is going to be packed with 40,000 people. The next day, another 30,000 people who will be given medicines. Today, we have distributed so much food. We'll be giving thousands and thousands and thousands of parts of rice and beans and gari and salt and sugar.
Just as we go there, I just want to quickly ask you, is there a reason why Port Harcourt has been chosen? I mean, one would have thought that maybe you would have preferred, maybe even Benue, for instance. You know, is there a reason why Port Harcourt is the destination this time around?
I want to suspect that my own first name even suggests that she's probably from the state she just mentioned. Just joking, rather. I'm a man of the spirit, and I always, I started this major step by the leading of God. At a time, my contemporaries are retiring. God spoke to me to start it after I observed something like this on a smaller level from some guys in Ghana. I went and learned and trained under them for 8 years. We leave London, go and sleep in some one-star or no-star hotel with them to see them touch the community. When I now wanted to start, I made up my mind it shall be based on the leading of God. I pray, I believe, I know, I hear God. And the first place God said was Ikorodu. Couldn't even understand why until I now remembered that was where my seminary was. Ikorodu was a success. Then we prayed again. God said Ibadan. We went, it was a success. Father, from when people heard about Ikorodu and Ibadan, every state began to say, oh, it's our state next. But I always listen to God, and God said, go to Port Harcourt. So, well, in Port Harcourt, in my own heart, I like to go to Osun, my Osun state. I've done 13 years for widows there. But God said, he's the director, I should go where he wants. Benue has its insecurities. I would want to ensure there is enough security. I would also want to hear God. If God tells me go to Benue, I will work with the people who are on ground. I do believe that Nigeria is one Nigeria. And I believe that people are entitled to their ancestral homes. Nobody should be chased out of their land, and somebody comes to occupy it, and we turn the blind eye. If it is Benue next, when Port Harcourt finishes, we'll go back to the spiritual drawing board, and we'll listen to God.
Well, Pastor, you know, and we'll soon wrap you up because we can see that we've held you for quite a while from the activity you really planned for today. But I want to quickly ask you this one, and it's quite important because we must admit that these conversations seems to have muddied up the waters of unity in Nigeria. Well, some people say the waters of unity were always muddied up. We're just pretending about it. But we do know that if there's anything that has now come to the fore, you know, this suspicion that could now be reigning amongst Christians and Muslims as a result of recent conversations. Do you think that we need to have a reach out, you know, on both sides of the divide? Do you think, because you have said that government really needs to do a lot to bring the country together, and you also believe in the unity of Nigeria, what do you think needs to happen for both sides to be able to look critically at the issues that have been, you know, tabled, especially as with regards to security, and know that this is about lives and not necessarily about one faith dominating or being more important than the other?
Let me honestly say that as a man who grew in this nation, I would also like to say whatever you permit increases. Anything you permit in life increases. You permit your child to throw temper tantrum, that child would almost be uncontrollable in his adulthood. When people began to speak out against the one-sidedness, somebody said, oh, they are crying wolf. Crying wolf until a people began to chase others out of their ancestral land and Nobody spoke until a people until a people were being hacked like cows and burnt like tires. Nobody spoke, sitting down, dialoguing. They've been doing that dialoguing a long time. And if a person wants to speak with you and lie later in your presence, he could do it. My counsel, my opinion still is that anybody who has been voted in represents the Christian, the Muslims, the animists, and even the atheists. Nigeria should be a comfortable place where no man is oppressed on grounds of their religion, on grounds of their race, on grounds of their color, on grounds of their dialect. I grew in northern Nigeria. I was born in Zaria. I grew up in Zaria, Kaduna, Kano. I speak the Hausa language. I used to speak it better than the Yoruba language. I understand the Igbo language. Why? Because we didn't even know the distinction when I grew up. You slept, you ate in the home of it. Helps them to win votes. And even when they won the vote, I hope the cry of the masses and the need of the masses is topmost on their mind. Nigeria needs a turnaround. Let's stand behind our president. Now that he has called for more policing, let's stand behind our president. Now that he has called for more soldiers. But above all, in my opinion, 2, 3 things. Number one, everyone who goes for security maintenance. That way we will increase the number. Anytime I go to Israel, I'm amazed. Israel's army are 18-year-olds. You serve in the Israel army from 18 to 22. All our NYC guys, community service, should train all of them to where they see somebody just smoking hemp, not even committing any crime as yet. Then the security level will increase. That's one. Number 2, let each state, state police may work, but I tell you, it will end up becoming the personal army of somebody who will begin to use it at some point to terrorize others. This is Nigeria, and we have seen people who have misunderstood that word executive behind their title. They execute what they should not execute. So let's all be security conscious. Let the nation look for ways to harness. Nigeria is 60% of Nigeria is under 30. Under 30, 60% of Nigeria is under 30. And if you don't quickly harness them, and they hear of how much the kidnapper is collecting, you kidnap a few people, you negotiate, they pay you 50 million. Money you cannot earn with a master's, with a PhD. People will be tempted. Let's raise security level. Let's make our people proud to be Nigerians. Let's tap into the brain in our nation. Let's also recognize, can you believe it, when I go all over Africa, I've been to about 7 this year. Every African nation I go to, they want to be Nigerians. They're so proud of us. They feel we are the toughest, strongest, boldest. We don't fear anybody, any man, any color. We discriminate, we will let you know Nigeria know they carry last. This is the nation we have. And I believe we have a leadership that wants to make things work. Let's support him. Let's be behind him.
We have to thank you so much for your time with us this morning. We've been speaking with Matthew Ashimolowo, who is a senior pastor and founder of KICC International. Thank you so much, Pastor Matthew, for speaking with us on Sunrise Daily this morning. And all the best with the distribution and the outreach you're doing in Port Harcourt.
Thank you.